Welcome back to the news at 7. Could you handle a year of no garbage? How about just a day without touching anything made of plastic? Author Eve Schaub took herself and her family on a year-long experiment asking questions like these. She met 21 Alive's John Wagner at Three Rivers Co-op on Sherman Boulevard to talk about her book, Year of No Garbage.
Ever since I was a kid, I thought a lot about garbage, which is probably a strange thing to say, but even as a kid, I'm watching Sesame Street and I'm seeing Oscar the Grouch sing about, rusty trombone parts and holey sneakers. And I remember even at that time, before we had any recycling or anything in our area, and thinking, that doesn't seem right. Where does this stuff go? What happens to it next? That's the problem, is that we live on a finite planet. And so there is no such thing as throwing something away. You're just throwing it somewhere else.
Recently, Eve Schaub took her whole family on a year-long experiment, not throwing anything away. The challenge was made up so that anything that came into their home had to be able to be reused, genuinely recyclable, compostable, or it was pretty much off limits. And Eve found out pretty early on that even just trying to avoid plastic for a day was paralyzing.
It's my 5th mistake and it's only 11 a.m. I'm not sure if I have any shoes I can wear though.
What's going on?
I'm afraid to do anything. I am surrounded by stuff I cannot do. Can't wear my glasses, can't see anything, can't use the computer, so I can't do any work, can't answer the phone, can't fold the laundry. I will read, but all the books and all the magazines are plastic in the papers and in the cupboard. I'm surrounded. And so we went into this project of not throwing anything away for an entire calendar year with the idea that everything had somewhere good to go if we could just look hard enough. And it turns out it was a whole lot more than I could possibly have ever imagined.
If at this point in the story you're thinking about how you would handle a challenge like Eve's, you're probably thinking about what you can put out at the curb for trash and recycling to pick up.
All the usual suspects: glass, paper, cardboard, aluminum, tin, and all the plastics number 1 through 7, which is the resin identification code in the little triangle with the chasing arrows. And I thought, well, there can't be that many other kinds of plastic. And what I found out very quickly is, oh yes, there can.
Cartons.
What's the deal with cartons? I used to think cartons were made of paper, so I put them in recycling. Turns out that cartons are actually a sort of scientifically smooshed together combination of paper and plastic and sometimes aluminum. There are single stream recyclers who will take them, and there's even places you can mail them away to be recycled. But the truth is that extreme recycling programs like this, mail-in programs, pay-to-play programs, they have no accountability. There is no recycling sheriff who is making sure they're really recycling. Howdy folks, I just came to check up on the carton recycling.
Multi-layer packaging is incredibly hard to separate and recycle.
There's so many more other kinds of plastic, and there were so many other things just that I would normally have just tossed into the trash without another thought, that now that I didn't have that option, I was stuck.
Eve told me she pretty quickly found out that there's not a whole lot of accountability when it comes to recycling plastic, and that because it has a pesky habit of never breaking down, having maybe irreversible effects on our environment, and occasionally becoming microplastics in our bodies, lots of people avoid it as much as they can. And since we were already at the Three Rivers Co-op, I took Eve on a lap around the grocery store to see how much plastic we could avoid.
I guess we'll get started in produce. What can we grab that's not plastic?
Well, you've got a rubber band around the broccoli. That's pretty good. So every time I'm going, I bring not only my reusable bags, but also my produce bags.
They have these like weird material bags.
I'm betting that this is
what do we know about that?
biodegradable. So it's compostable. So then the question with compostable, and I get into this in the book quite a bit, there's different kinds of compostable. There's home compostable and there's industrially compostable.
Yeah.
Industrially compostable is a much higher bar to have the product actually break down. You can't just put it in your pile in your backyard. It will not break down. Here's something, I think most people wouldn't necessarily think of this packaging and, and say plastic, but of course it is. It's a multi-layer. So for example, there could be foil or other materials, and they're sandwiched together with the plastic and sort of superheated.
What about, okay, coffee? Nobody lives without coffee in my house. I'm sure maybe the same in yours.
These are, again, this is another multi-layer. This is a multi-layer.
And whether it's regular milk or like vegan milk, it seems like you're in the same boat for packaging.
You cannot recycle that in any universe. Baby wipes are plastic, the container is plastic. But look, somebody seems like is this metal? No, it's not.
What about seasoning jars? It seems like something that could be maybe plastic free.
Well, when you go to open it, you're going to find that there's a plastic seal underneath here. It's an amalgam of, so you've got the plastic there.
I completely forgot about the
plus
little stopper thing.
The little tear-off thing, which again is for, to be sanitary, and that is also a multi-layer. You would think, like pasta, even when you've got a bag like this, I would venture to guess that this is a multi-layer with plastic on the inside, but even if it is not, you've got your plastic window here, so that's a shame.
Yeah, because to my knowledge, nobody's selling like loose pasta, so you kind of have to buy.
Right.
Some kind of packaging.
So why do we need this, right? When a picture would do just fine. I can recycle the whole rest of the box, and then I can feel 100% good about buying this product.
I kind of don't see anything with my eye right now
No.
to get away from it. Do you?
No, unfortunately. I mean, even the stuff that they make here, they're packaging it for you in plastic.
Should we get a drink?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got in the wine section.
We also saved wine corks.
Because this whole plastic thing could make you go for a glass of wine. I think.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I see some plastic sort of protection here. That's
Yes,
foil,
this
right?
is foil, and I saved all of this kind of stuff.
Should I even ask? Should we even bother with the frozen section?
Oh boy.
What about like the TV dinners of the 50s?
But yeah, I remember having them in like tin or aluminum.
I think we just created a business.
Okay.
I can quit the news. You can stop writing books. We're gonna bring back the sustainable TV dinner.
Yes.
If I don't bring ice cream home at least like once a week, I'm in trouble. So, are we safe in ice cream territory?
All of the ones I'm seeing here are, again, multi-layers. There's plastic involved. It's not recyclable. I'm wondering if we have some glass here, or
No,
is it...
Talenti, I know my wife loves those. Those are plastic. They used to be glass, actually.
Ah,
Okay, so, wow.
yeah.
I guess I'm in trouble.
No ice cream.
If you've watched this far in the report, you've probably just thought about plastic way more than you have in a little while. And whether you're concerned about the environment, global warming, or just your own body, plastic is worth thinking about a little bit more. Is it being used too much? Does recycling even work? And how much harm does it do? That's all going to be debated for a very long time. But one thing I took away from my time with Eve was, there's always been a way to do much of what we do as a society without plastic. And it might not be the most convenient, but it probably couldn't hurt to start looking backwards in order to look forwards.
Change is uncomfortable, and that's why we resist it, right? Even when it's something very small, because it causes you to pause. And I think once you stop and use something like this, you go, oh, okay, here are the scoops I'm supposed to use, and here's where I'm supposed to put them when they're done. And, it's like, it becomes a part of your routine. That's what I found during our year of no garbage, is that I developed new routines, it was a little painful and uncomfortable at first, but once we incorporated them into our lives, it became second nature.
Squinting at the packaging in the snack aisle, John Wagner, 21 Alive.